Griffon Sports Insider is presented by Mosaic Life Care.
Hello and welcome to Griffon Sports Insider, presented by Mosaic Life Care. Believe it or not, we cleared that with the Ripleys. Believe it or not, this is episode 4 of the fall of Griffon Sports Insider. And for Jerry Partridge's club, they enter week 4. Week 3 was very happy. The Griffons went on the road to defeat Northeastern State. They are now 2-1 on the season. Let's take a look back with Nick McCutcheon.
Open football in Tahlequah, Oklahoma for the first time since 2012, trying to get on the plus side of 500 on the year and looking to hand NSU their 14th consecutive loss. Mike Jordan had 2 interceptions last year against NSU, 2 last week versus UCO, and 8 minutes into this one, he's halfway there again. Jordan's INT leads to a 20-yard Tanner Pettit field goal. Then the next couple of minutes just get plain stupid. Blaine Armstrong's second pass of the game, and it's his second interception of the game, this time Jonathan Owens. 40 seconds later, things looking good for MWSU until Skylar Windmiller is picked off by Tony Newman. That would lead to Blaine Armstrong's third consecutive interception. This time it was Dante Watkins' turn. Then it was Windmiller's turn again, his second, and the 4th straight drive ending in an interception, all within a span of 2.5 minutes. But interceptions and turnovers were kind of the name of this game. Griffin's trailing 17-10 fourth quarter. NSU looking for its first win since 2013, their first win ever against Missouri Western. Why not? After all 4 starting DBs get an interception, Darian Bass, the linebacker, adds another. Missouri Western's 5th interception of the game. The Griffon defense was incredible all day, continuing to step up when they were needed most, nearly knocking 2 different Riverhawk quarterbacks out of the game. Time for the offense to pick them up. 6 minutes left, Griff's down by 7. Windmiller flushed from the pocket, rolls left, finds a wide open Brandon Clark for a 21-yard game-tying touchdown. Griffin D, your turn again. Anyone see the Chiefs-Broncos game Thursday night? Next drive for NSU, the first play, Cody Lindsey forces a bad pitch on the option, ball's loose, Dante Watkins scoops it, runs it untouched for a 14-yard touchdown. The Griffon D's 6th turnover of the game, and it proves to be the game-winning score. Missouri Western wins a 4th quarter for the first time all season, and Missouri Western wins their 2nd game of the year, 24-17.
Joined by the head football coach, Missouri Western State University, Jerry Partridge. Poise over panic is a term that you used. I think that fits Saturday to a T.
Yeah, I think so. Of course, I steal things from people. I was reading Mike Krzyzewski's book.
The ideas are stolen.
That was a chapter in Mike Krzyzewski's book last week. I said, man, it makes a lot of sense to me this week, and so used it frequently throughout the week, and certainly was using it a lot during the game.
Well, I tell you what, this defense, wow, I think is what you can definitely say about it. I mean, a lot of stats. You are top 5, not only in the league, just in the country defensively. And all 4 of your starting secondary members have an interception that game. We could do research for 2 weeks and probably not find that in another game of football at any level.
Yeah, it was exceptional. I think our the linebacking core / secondary may be the best group that we've ever had assembled together. No slide on our D-line. We got really good players there too, but just overall, just how well those guys are playing and the speed they have, and just the whole intelligence too. The football intelligence is exceptional too, and how they're playing right now is something that gives us a chance.
Offensively, there are a lot of things that stick out on this stat sheet that look very good. Raphael Spencer ran hard, 160 yards rushing, another 300-yard passing game for Skylar Windmiller. Alec Furbett, 99 yards receiving. But there are probably a lot of things in the game that probably concern you as well. How concerned are you about this offense?
The biggest concerns in the game, to me, are our inability to finish some drives. We're leaving a lot of points out there. We're moving the ball pretty well. We had, the first game we had 350 yards, but that was against a pretty good Central Missouri defense. The last 2 weeks have been, we've been up over 400 yards, 500 yards in one of the games. So, we moved the ball, but we're just not finishing the drives and scoring. And that's probably the biggest concern. The penalties, the pre-snap penalties, the alignment penalties are a big concern to us too, and just turning the football over. And those three things, if we can get rid of those three things, turnovers, penalties, and just finishing drives, red zone offense, we'd be a really good football team right now.
Skylar Windmiller threw interceptions in the game, but all in all, he did throw some very good balls, and I know you feel like his receivers need to help him out a little bit more as well.
Yeah, we got to get better receiver play. I mean, first of all, just in their alignment, but also just the ability to adjust to some passes. We've had a couple tipped interceptions, and those guys have a lot of talent. We expect a lot of them, and I think that their best football's ahead.
Well, we survived on the road, and now we've got to come home and play a Lindenwood club that's hungry. We'll talk more about the Lindenwood Lions when GSI returns right after this.
Stick 'em, ha ha ha, stick 'em, stick 'em, ha ha ha, stick 'em.
Okay, Nick McCutcheon reporting for GSI. We got ready to do this week's Beatboxing with Bo segment, and we couldn't find Bo. We were really worried. No one knew where he was. And then we got a call from campus police, and we felt a little bit better because now we know where he is, but we still don't know what's going on. You can see Bo in the background right now. He's been standing in front of that case for 3 days. No one knows why. He hasn't moved. He hasn't talked to anyone. We don't know what the heck is going on, but I'm about to find out. Come with me. Bo, we heard you've been here for a few days. We've been real worried about you. All of Griffon Nation's worried about you. What's going on here? Okay, Bo, you know, it's you're just standing here staring at this case. What the heck's going on?
Trying to intimidate the lion, playing mind games with him.
Oh, I see. We play Lindenwood this week. Griffon football does. They're the Lions. The problem is, Bo, this isn't a Lindenwood Lion. This is half of the Griffon. You know what Griffon's half lion, half eagle? You don't want to play mind tricks on this, right?
Total pain this week for the Lions. Griffin's roll 75-10.
Well, you know, you'd think Bo has learned his lesson by now, but we've come to expect those types of outlandish predictions, haven't we?
Yeah, it's I don't even put a whole lot of thought in it right now.
As you would like to say, he writes checks that you have to cash,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure that's realistic to cash that one. But Griffon football back at Craig Field at Spratt Memorial Stadium this Saturday to take on Lindenwood. Just the second ever meeting between these two teams. In fact, they've never been to St. Joe. Missouri Western took last year's game 26-9 in St. Charles on national TV, and the Griffon defense stole the show. 14 points scored by the Missouri Western defense. They could have won the game without the offense even stepping on the field. Griffon's in the same place they were last year at this time. 2-1. Lindenwood comes into St. Joe with a 1-2 record. And Coach, you see 1-2, but this is a team that beat Washburn in week 1, and Washburn just went to the jungle and won. This is a dangerous Lindenwood team.
Yeah, I think they have very quality football players. Last year we went there, like you said, and didn't play the greatest game. It was real similar to this one here. Our defense played exceptional and made some plays and scored points, had 2 touchdowns and had a safety. They probably have arguably the 2 most dynamic football players we have faced to date. Their quarterback, Scroggins, incredibly athletic. I mean, just freakish, some of the things he does in the pocket and how energetic and active he is. Sometimes he gets himself into trouble with some of it, but he just makes some plays that you just don't know how it got made. And then Connor Harrison, the linebacker that punts and also runs Wildcat quarterback. And so probably 2 of the better football players we're going to see all year long, and they're dangerous. They beat Washburn in the last play of the game, or they're close to it. Really, we're in the game in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh blocked 2 punts, 1 for a touchdown. Their punt formation's been a little bit of a problem for them, and I'm sure they're going to have it shored up when they get here. You know, and then they beat lost to Hayes going away. Hayes played a great football game. So you said it, the first time they've ever been here, anomaly that they've been in the league for 4 years, and this is the first time their first trip to St. Joe ever.
Week to week, I know as a coach, you're always looking at one area, especially to improve. What's your eye on this week?
You know, I think defensively, just not give up the big play, and that's hard to do. I mean, we get 1 big play all game last week, and that's hard to do. But the penalty thing is the biggest thing defensively. We've kind of kept some drives alive with our penalties. Offensively, it is the penalties, it is finishing drives, and it's avoiding the turnover.
You know, last year and then heading into this year, from an offensive perspective, we haven't been very good on third down. In fact, our third down conversion percentage below 30%. What's got to change to get that better? I mean, I know there's a lot of answers to that, but in your mind, what do you see that needs to change there?
Well, we've been excellent in that category prior to the last couple of years, and you know, the ability for a receiver to make a play, the ability for a guy not to bust on assignment and protection-wise, the ability to create a little more short yardage situation and be physical with it and get it done, the ability for a quarterback to execute a play. Those are things that we've been missing over the last couple of years that those kids have to do and perform. And I think it'll happen. I think it's one of those deals like when you miss a bunch of free throws, you sit there and say, okay, we got to work on free throws. Well, then next thing you know, it's so mental, it's ridiculous. And I think that's going on too. But I think defensively we've been outstanding on third down. So, you know, I think if we start executing there, we'll be fine. I like having not ever having third down, too. That'd be good.
That would be good, too. And just in general, in looking at the first 3 weeks at this league as a whole, this is a pretty wide-open league, isn't it?
Well, you know, it's interesting the symmetry of how each league is divided up. Obviously, the first week it's easy to have 6 1-0s and 6 0-1s. That's the only way you can do it. And then the next week you got the division of the, you know, the 1-0-1s, the 0-2s, and 2-0s. Now it's even breaking up into more. You know, where there's 3 of everything: 3-0, 2-1, 1-2, 0-3, and you know, I don't know. You say it's wide open, but it just seems like every year that someone takes off and loses 1 or 0, and I think it looks like a year maybe where 2 could get it done, but somebody's got to show they're going to beat some of those other teams.
Well, speaking of symmetry, and I know how heartbroken you've been, I'm not sure an Easley's tantalizing trio has gotten on GSI the first 3 weeks, and
highly frustrating.
It is highly frustrating, and maybe the producers of this show are trying to tell us something. But we're going to try it again. And if this doesn't get on, you may never see me again. The rest
could be anarchy.
It could be anarchy. Yes. So Easley's tantalizing trio. I guess let's call this the 2015 debut. I asked Jerry Partridge 3 questions, maybe about sports, may not be about sports, and he's just going to tell me the first thing that's on his mind. So, Coach P, it'd be remiss if we didn't talk Royals. As it stands now, I think the key question is, are the Royals or the Toronto Blue Jays going to have home field advantage in the American League playoffs?
I'm going to stick with the Royals.
I'm going to stick with the Royals, too, as there's just 1.5 games left, or as they just have a 1.5 games lead. We'll see with 2 weeks left. But I like that. Royals have been good all year. They're going to hang on. Okay, secondly, completely off sports. Next year's an election year. Are you into the presidential debates? Do you care? Do you watch those? It's pretty good television if you do watch them.
No, I don't have time really right now, but you know, I'm aware of the candidates, and I'm not real pleased at this moment with our choices.
Okay, well, there you go. Jerry Partridge's political view. And finally, I think I would also be remiss if we didn't talk a little Chiefs. Crushing defeat last Thursday night, just to say the least. Is that a blip in the road, or is it going to stay with this team for a while?
It'll be a blip in the road. I think the leadership's good. I like to see games managed better, but I think it's just a blip in the road.
I would agree with that, too. Well, Coach
overall
P,
leadership's good.
I would agree with that as well. Well, Coach P, another blip in the road this week for Griffon football. Let's hope it's a good blip. Love to move to 3-1. Hope to see folks out here, Craig Field, Sprott Memorial Stadium this Saturday.
Yep.
That's Jerry Partridge. I'm Brett Easley. More Griffon Sports Insider presented by Mosaic Life Care. Rolls on after this.
I'm PGA golfer Bryce Garnett.
Grant Fink, Cleveland Indians organization, and I am a Griffon.
Mike Schultz, St. Louis Cardinals organization, and I'm a Griffon.
Greg Zerline, kicker, St. Louis Rams, and I am a Griffon.
Michael Hill, NFL running back, I am a Griffon.
David Bass, Chicago Bears, defensive end, and I am a Griffon.
Well, this field has been kind to Griffon soccer. A 3-0 home start, which more importantly has aided them to the best start in school history after a 2-1 victory last Sunday over Lindenwood. Nick McCutcheon recaps the game.
Another sun-drenched day at Craig Field for 3-1 Griffon soccer. Now that number will be important to remember later. Griff's hosting MIAA foe Lindenwood in a non-MIAA match. Don't ask. And here's your star of the first period. Nope, not Bridget Blessy, that guy in the green shirt. Either this one was that physical or he's practicing to be a crossing guard. I don't know. Griff's with early chances that don't pan out, so who are you going to call? How about your all-conference defender, or one of them anyway? Taylor Gant usually doesn't have the ball more than a split second. Here she has it for more than half the field, embarrassing some of her Lindenwood counterparts on the way to her first career goal. she's a junior, gives her team a 1-0 lead. Lindenwood would tie it on this shot, almost save, almost deflection, whatever that was. Either way, tie game. And will the Griffs come marching back?
Oh, when the Griffs go marching in, oh, how I want to be in that number. When the Griffs go marching in.
Yes, how about another first goal? This one from Bailey Durbin, and a memorable one for her. It was 1 year ago, the day before this match, that she broke her leg at Northwest Missouri State. She's battled back to play this season, and this one becomes the game winner for Missouri Western. They move to 4-1 on the season. That's important. Why? Because it's the program's best start ever.
We're so excited. I think that as we've been going, we've been getting those little puzzle pieces that we've needed. We're putting it together. This is going to be probably the best season we've ever had, so I'm just so excited to be a part of it.
You know, this all started last spring, and then through the winter really, and then into the spring and over the summer, and just their work ethic and their passion for getting us to that next level. You know, we always talk about that bad taste in our mouth leaving Hayes last November, and you know, it's just such a credit to the players, and then you know, not only the players that you know, we're talking about returning players all the time, but the kids that came in, you know, they're all fit and ready to go and understood what it takes to win at this level. And you know, it's nice to when your hard work and your effort starts paying off, and it certainly has through the course of the first five games, and now we've got to continue to get after it as we head into Edmond on Friday.
MIAA play begins for Griffon soccer this weekend on the road. Griffons head to Oklahoma. Friday afternoon, the Griffons will be at Central Oklahoma. That match set to start at 4 p.m. And then on Sunday, the Griffons will head east to Tahlequah as they'll take on Northeastern State. That match set to start at 1 p.m. Well, the Griffon volleyball team also perfect at home after weekend wins over Oklahoma Baptist and Henderson State. The Griffons have matched their winning streak from a year ago. That winning streak now is at 8 games, but head coach Marion Carbon says this team can still play better. Nick McCutcheon sat down with Coach Carbon to talk about Griffon volleyball.
Yeah, I thought we had a really good week. You know, we still have a lot of improvement to make. Our young team, you know, still showed some signs of just inexperience and unfamiliarity with each other, with our system at times over the weekend. And going into league play, those are things we have to clean up if we want to, you know, achieve our goals and, you know, get to the conference tournament, have a high seed, go far in the tournament for that matter. You know, as league play starts and teams have more film on us and we have more film on them, you know, they're going to see some of these things. They're going to start to expose the weaknesses that we've got, and so we've got to do a lot of work this week to clean those things up. Offensively, we have to be in system more, because when we're out of system is when our offense gets very predictable. We end up setting high balls to our pin players. But when we're in system and Jordan Chohan has decisions that she can make and options that she can choose between, that's when our offense is at its most dynamic. And so we have to get to a point defensively in serve receive where we're in system more often than not, and definitely more often than our opponents are. When we got off to a slow start in our serve receive offense, we didn't snap out of it. We didn't recover very well and kind of get out of our funk and get back to business as usual. And so that's a little bit disconcerting. But overall, through our first 10 games, to have one night where we didn't pass well, didn't, you know, play defense the way we have been, you know, I'll take it. One out of our first, you know, 8 dates of competition, we don't play our best, and we still are 8-2. You know, we'll take it. Obviously, going into league play, we know that if we pass that way and don't play solid defense, don't communicate well, that was the other big issue, is that we just didn't communicate. We had a lot of balls where it looked like we were confused, but it wasn't that the other team did anything to cause our confusion. We brought it on ourselves. And so that was the other area of concern, that we were causing our own confusion. And you know, this league is strong, and if you do that to yourself and cost yourself points, you know, they're going to earn plenty of points on their own. So if they earn a bunch and you give them a bunch, you're going to find yourself in a really deep hole. And the teams this past weekend didn't necessarily capitalize on our mistakes the way teams in the league will. We need to play our very best, get our conference schedule off to a good start, you know, build confidence through our MIAA schedule for our younger players, and their home games at that. So you got to take care of your games that you have at home. because it's that much harder to go and win on the road at someone else's place. And we'll have these same two teams down the road, on the road. And so we want to get confidence here at home and continue to show our home fans too that we're a lot better than maybe what we showed you last weekend. We showed you really some moments of really good volleyball. We need a lot more of that this weekend than the confusion.
Well, a good opportunity for volleyball to stretch that win streak this weekend as MIAA play begins in the Fieldhouse. Friday night, the Griffins host 0-9 Missouri Southern at 7 p.m. And then the next night, Southwest Baptist will be here. They're 2-8 on the season. That also a 7 p.m. match. Come out and check out Griffin volleyball in the MWSU Fieldhouse. When GSI returns, it's part 4 of a series on concussions with a Mosaic Life Care Minute.
At Mosaic Life Care, our community matters. We donated $4,500 to Food for Kids, a summer lunch program that feeds hungry children. Our caregivers have contributed more than $700,000 in volunteer work. The Pound Plunge has helped 15,000 people lose more than 112,000 pounds. We're creating a legacy of community care right here in St. Joseph. Learn more at mymosaiclifecare.org/community matters.
Once a concussion is recognized, our motto is, if in doubt, get checked out. You got to take yourself out of the game. That is the most important thing to do. The most important thing that a student athlete can do is to have the maturity to say, hey, something happened, I'm not quite right, I'm going to go see the athletic trainer, I'm going to go talk to somebody that can help me get the help that I need.
Neurocognitive testing is a way to test the functional capacity of the brain. It's important to get a baseline test so that we can measure how your brain is functioning compared to how your brain was functioning before a particular injury. The test that we use is an impact test. It's a neurocognitive test that measures the function, the capacity, the speed of movement of your brain.
Impact is an exam that an athlete takes on a computer, and it poses questions to the athlete that have to do with memory, both short-term, long-term, recognition of shapes, recognition of colors, things of that nature.
The impact protocol is as follows. Shortly after the injury occurs, the athlete will have a first post-injury test. A plan of care will then be developed at that time. The concussion program coordinator will then track daily symptom scores. The second post-injury test will be administered once the athlete is symptom-free. If the student tests within their baseline limits, they will then begin the 5-step return to play protocol. Once the 5 steps have been completed and the student has stayed symptom-free, they will take one more post-injury impact test. If all is clear, student athletes will meet with the physician for final approval. If the student athlete does not test within the baseline limits, they must then wait 5 days to retest.
Scary to think the final home action of the month of September takes place this weekend, but we hope you're out here. A lot going on, teams playing well, a couple of volleyball matches this weekend, Friday and Saturday night at 7 p.m. And then big day out here on Saturday at Craig Field at Spratt Memorial Stadium. Be a part of history. Centennial Founders Day with a lot of events going on. It's also Family Day for Griffin students. Again, those events start at 11 a.m. in Lot H in front of the Baker Fitness Center. There's a mega tailgate party, a battle of the bands, carnival games, inflatables, planetarium shows in Remington Hall. And oh yes, there's a big football game as well at 2 p.m. as the Griffins take on Lindenwood. If you don't have your tickets for the football game, easy way to do that. GoGriffins.com. You can call the Griffin Athletics office at 816-271-4481. Where tickets go on sale on game day beginning at noon for the 2 o'clock kick. Again, Griffins against Lindenwood, Craig Field, Spratt Memorial Stadium this Saturday. Well, that's going to do it for Episode 4 of Griffon Sports Insider presented by Mosaic Life Care. For Nick McCutcheon, I'm Brett Easley. Be loud, wear gold, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, go Griffs.